women are pulling back from consumerism at droves. So how do I know this? So the Wall Street Journal just released an article a few days ago saying that women are pulling back on their spending. And I just think that that is the writing on the wall that something isn't great and something's gonna give. So what are they talking about? Women are cutting back on discretionary spending like manicures, Uber ride, food delivery due to rising costs and stagnant wages. So what are they doing? They're kind of getting into the DIY solution and budget hacks, press on nails, dyeing clothes, and sewing tutorials from TikTok. Okay, so they're looking at these press on nails and doing all this other stuff. Ali actually does that. Women consumer sentiment has dropped sharply and men reflecting greater financial pessimism. So even guys are like, oh my goodness. And it is hard when you're looking at just the numbers to justify some of these things that we're being charged for. And so you have to be now super, super alert to what is going on, where am I going to deploy my money? And here we go. Some of them are considering side hustle like babysitting to cover rental and medical bills. And this is just going crazier. And therapy costs are being replaced with ChatGPT because it's just so expensive to go see a therapist. Subscription services like Amazon Prime and Netflix are being canceled to save money. And I always feel like if you cancel a $20 Netflix subscription, I'm like, man, then people are really, really struggling because it costs you $20, and if you use it for an hour, it costs you $20. So it is crazy when people go out and cancel Netflix subscriptions, and we know that, hey, it's really, really hurting. And general merchandise spending by women has declined, especially in apparel. Higher rideshare prices are causing people to switch back to public transportation and subways. Yeah, I see that. So the article basically went on and said, hey, I used to get an Uber ride from $80 to JFK, New York. Now it's in the triple digits. I can't afford that anymore. Meal delivery services are losing popularity. And I can agree with that because it's just so expensive to do these meal service delivery. And it's cold food. And it costs like 4 times as much as you just go and pick it up. But if you don't have a car, your car got repoed or something else and you don't want to cook, then it's time to open up TikTok and type in how to cook, or how do you do all that kind of stuff, or YouTube tutorials. I think Amazon Alexa now has even features in it that actually teaches you how to do it. Women are seeing as early indicators as economy downturn because they adjust their spending faster when uncertainty rises. So this is the warning signs. And I read all these indicators, and people still write me emails saying the economy is great, Costco's stacked with people. And I was at Costco the other day, and it is stacked with a bunch of people. But now the question comes, how many of these people are laid off and are not looking at their financial budgeting? Because Americans do not like to look the reality into the face. They're just like, hey, let me just kick the can down the curb and I'll find another job to pay this off. And this is what trips up Americans from a European's perspective, is it takes you so long to recapture a few months lost in the job market. So when you're not working and you have no income, or just a $300-500 a week coming in from the unemployment office, it is so hard. You have to work so much more to recapture that earned money than it is to just, hey, let me jump into the next opportunity. And people always say, hindsight's 20/20, and I don't want to network, I don't want to do none of that. And it's all these ghost job listings. No, it's you haven't networked, you haven't done the right steps, you haven't taken your career to where you're an opportunity magnet, you attract opportunities. You do all these things, you need to do all these things in order for you to be a valuable member of your field. And how do you do that? You play the game on LinkedIn. Is it valuable? Yes, because sometimes perceived value is received value. When I tell that to people, and I have a school community, they rather DM us. They rather write me a huge DM rather than saying, hey, what does the community think? What does that think? Because it's not like posting about political stuff and I did all this stuff. No, it's about, hey, this is how I overcame challenges. This is what I do. That gets recruiters to recognize you. And that gets people to do connections. That's what gets you speaking opportunities. That gets you invites to conventions. That gets you invites to, hey, we have this new software tool that we're trying to launch. And you might be a great candidate for trial. And all these opportunities come to you when you put yourself out there. But a lot of people just say, I don't want to do none of that. I don't even on LinkedIn. And so you let opportunities pass by you, and that's just bad in times like this where you need to grab every opportunity and make sure that, hey, I'm at the right spot. This is my field, and not jump around from entry-level job to entry-level job and then wonder why you're 45 years old and you're still making 20, 30 bucks an hour if you can constantly get more money. And you don't have to play the corporate game full time. You can do that on an occasion of like, hey, I'm in the finance field, so let me just stay in the finance field rather than going from finance to being a bank manager to being a Walgreens manager to do all these other things. No, just stay in your lane. Just stay in the finance lane and keep climbing and find the next opportunity and really try to gain the relevant skills and not be outdated. I have people in my job search community that don't have the skills that are required that these people are looking for. So I have directors and vice presidents that are trying to get jobs again that did not innovate. And now they're looking for jobs, and all these jobs in their field require other skills. And they're 10, 15 years away from retirement, and they do not have the necessary skills to be hired at that level again, because the field's transformed so much with AI just in the last 2 years, transferred with AI, automation, all these other things. That's why I say stay in your lane, get the relevant certificates, try to stay industry relevant and go on these courses. But a lot of people say, I'm not giving my employer a single minute of my time. Dude, you're investing in yourself. It's called self-investment. You read about what's new in your industry. You read about, hey, this is something that's coming. This might be the next big thing. And if you're not looking at that, you just go to work, you show up, you type in your numbers, and then you leave and you're not curious about what's coming, you're always going to be just a number typer. So let this be a lesson and say, hey, I'm going to better myself just 1% better every day. And when I talk about that, people get so mad about it. And I say, hey, you don't have to read if you don't like reading. Listen to a podcast. Listen to an audiobook. If you're sitting in the subway, I think everybody can educate themselves now on social media and even the Wall Street Journal. If you don't like reading, they read it to you now. So you can be literally on the toilet for your 5-10 minutes and actually listening to relevant industry stuff. Bloomberg News does it. So you can just, whatever you want, Fox News, they all read to you now. So you can just be on the throne, just listening. And so just be mindful of like, hey, let me gain the experience. And if you're like, I don't have these skills on my resume, or they're looking for these skills, go take a LinkedIn learning course. I think LinkedIn Premium now is, you can take courses, mini courses or longer ones for free if you just do the trial. So you can do a trial for, I think it's like 60 days now or something. I could be wrong. Take a nano course and say, I understand the basics of it. You don't have to become an expert at it, but hey, I understand the basics, and that's what's going to increase your market value. You can then say, hey, I do have these skills and I'm not an old dinosaur. So yeah, because we're tough now. I've spoke to somebody the other day that said, hey, my job got 2,000 to 3,000 applications in a matter of days. And how do you stand out? Well, you got to network. You got to do all these extra things, or you're not going to be able to stand out. And people say, oh, it's all cooked. It's all cooked. No, it's like, if we're in this market where it's so competitive, and we're in a market where everything is expensive, candidates are super competitive now. you got to be delivering more value, right? How else do you want to stand out? It doesn't even necessarily have to be with luck, because if you're going to keep submitting the same application and not do more, then you're just going to be never picked. And you can then apply to 900 jobs and still be at the same spot as you were when you started. So you might as well just started playing video games and start streaming that, because after 900 hours, you've probably made a few dollars streaming video games. And this is what I tell people: you gotta be innovating, you gotta be doing other stuff and try things that are valuable to employers. And yeah, I hate to say it, but it's competitive now. And if you got your own shop, you got your own thing, you can now pick from candidates you've never dreamt before. I spoken to my house cleaner the other day, and she said it was so hard for her to get talented people that wanted to actually do house cleaning. And she said, I pay pretty decent, but I've never gotten good talent. All of a sudden, now I got really, really great people applying, and I know it's not gonna last, but during this time I can use some really great people because they can't get other jobs. So then they say, hey, I'm gonna go a level down where I can actually still make the money. So let this lesson be learned from you, from just seeing rather than doing it. You've heard it. So don't go out and apply for so much more stuff and do all these crazy things that you know, like, it's competitive and all this other stuff. So be aware, do your thing, be right. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, how you can still land a job in 2025 when all these layoffs are coming, money's hard to lend, people don't have opportunities all over, but opportunities will come. Downturn in the market, that's where all these fortunes are made. So if you're over leveraged on your car, you're over leveraged on everything, it's going to be hard for you to realize and take these opportunities that are coming. But if you live below your means, like a lot of my viewers do, and don't do crazy financing tricks where you finance a Lamborghini on a middle class income, and you were gonna rent it out, and all of a sudden the rental market dipped, and now your Lamborghini that you were renting out, making good money during COVID, all of a sudden not good. Yeah, times change, markets change. You gotta be aware. You gotta read the news. You gotta see what, it's almost like you need to encipher what they're truly saying. They can't come out and say, this is what we're seeing in the market, because there's gonna be so many haters saying, oh my gosh, it's not true, or this is all politicized and doing all this. So you gotta read between the lines and say, hey, this is what's actually going on. Do I like it? Do I not? And how do I prepare myself? And it doesn't matter to me personally who's in the White House. It matters to me, hey, how do I position myself for the next 4 years of this administration? And how do I position myself for the next 4 years? It's all about the risk and how much you're in what country, in what direction the wind's blowing from. So you don't pee against the wind. That's the only thing you can do as a business owner if you're like me, that's a small one. Not if I'd have hundreds of millions, yeah, then you can bribe people. You can go like this other video I did where you can lobby these state lobbyists. But if you're a small business, just make sure that hey, I'm aligned right, my books are clean, and my debt to income ratio is still good, or I'm gonna get taken to the slaughter. And trust me, nobody wants to get taken to the slaughter. So yeah, if you haven't, let me know what you're thinking. Are you taking some money and spending it, or are you putting it in a savings account? Are you paying off debt? What's your strategy for this upcoming recession? Let me know. And please like and subscribe if you have not. Let me know your strategies. Let me know what you're seeing in the market. And yeah, if your opinion is different from mine, we can still be friends. I love you guys. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.